Welcome to Sundays with PP, short weekly resets to help you enjoy your youth, know yourself, and get ready for a future that's changing fast. Now, you have two selves, and you know it even if you've never said it out loud. There's the self you perform, the one that shows up when someone's watching, that knows what to say, how to read the room, which parts of you to lead with and which to keep hidden. It's not fake exactly, but it's curated. It's the version you've decided that is safe to show. Then there's the real one, the one that exists at 2 a.m. when you can't sleep, that knows what you're actually afraid of, that has questions you've never said out loud. So today is about the gap between those two and why closing it is the whole work of knowing who you are. So here's the punchline. Your identity is not the version of you that other people approve of. It's who you are when no one's watching. And the distance between those two is the most important thing about you. Adam Smith is a very popular name, not Mr. Smith from the movies, but Adam Smith is remembered for economics. But before that, he wrote about conscience, and he gave us one of the most useful images ever put to it. It's called the Impartial Spectator. So imagine a fair, informed witness standing just outside yourself. Someone who sees exactly what you did, knows why you actually did it, and judges it honestly, without your excuses and without your self-flattery. So Smith's claim is that maturity is learning to see yourself the way that impartial spectator would. Not the way your fans see you, not the way your critics see you, the way a fair witness who knows everything would see you. So here's why this cuts to the heart of identity. Most people can't see themselves honestly because they're too busy managing how they're seen. The performed self is always negotiating with the audience, but the impartial spectator isn't in the audience. The impartial spectator is the part of you that already knows the truth and is quietly waiting for you to be honest about it. So doing the hard thing here isn't performing a better self. It's the harder work of looking at yourself the way a fair witness would and telling yourself the truth about what you see. Confucius said that when you see men of worth, think of how you may equal them. When you see men of contrary character, turn inward and examine yourself. Notice the reflex he's training. Everything becomes a mirror. You don't look outward to compare, to compete, or to condemn. You look outward and then immediately turn the gaze back on yourself. So the other person becomes an occasion to examine your own character. Now, this is the opposite of how most people use other people, especially now. The feed trains you to look outwardly constantly, to compare, to envy, to perform for an audience you can't see. Confucius trains the opposite motion, outward, then inward. Every person you encounter is a chance to ask honestly, who am I in comparison? Not to feel superior or inferior, but to know yourself more truly. And the black coffee theory tells you why this matters so much. Whatever you give your attention to grows. So if your attention is fixed outward on the performance, on the comparison, on the audience, then you grow the performed self. If you turn it inward with honesty, you grow the real one. Focus determines direction. So the psalmist in Psalm 139, verses 13 to 16, writes, "For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret." Now here's the claim that reorders the entire identity question. The God who made you has access to the hidden place. The 2 a.m. self, the part no audience ever sees. Culture does not have access to that place. Your followers don't. Your critics don't. but you were fully known there before you performed anything for anyone. You have a purpose here, and God knows it, and He knows you. This is enormous freedom. And here's why. If your worth were established by the audience, by approval, by performance, by the curated self, then it would always be up for a vote, and you'd never be safe. But the psalm says your worth was settled in the hidden place by the one who formed you there before anyone else had an opinion. You do not have to perform your way into being valuable. You already are in the place where it counts. And so this means that the goal isn't to build an impressive performed self. The goal is to let the real self, the one God already knows fully, come out of hiding. Now, this might mean that the people you want to like you aren't going to like you, and you need to be okay with that. Because if your true self is coming out and people aren't liking you, they're not your people. So identity isn't something you construct for the audience. It's something you stop hiding from the one who already sees it. So one question this week, answered honestly on paper, not performed for anyone, not even for yourself. Maybe write it on a whiteboard or something so you can look at it and erase it or rewrite it again and again. But who you are when no one is watching, when nothing is required of you and there's no version of yourself that you need to present to anyone. So turn that into a question. So who are you when no one is watching? Who are you when nothing is required of you? And who are you when there's no version of yourself that you need to present to anyone? And then notice the gap. Where's the widest distance between the self you perform and the self you actually are? You're not going to fix it this week, and you don't have to. Just name it honestly. Naming the gap and naming what you're worried about too, as we talked about before, but naming things is the beginning of closing the gap. And closing it is the whole work. So the version of you that culture approves of is not the whole you. The question is whether you know the difference. Now, I do have a Patreon community where I'm hoping to, I shouldn't really call it a community. I have a Patreon account that I'm trying to build a community on someday. It'll be life coaching, but then it's going to turn into counseling, online counseling. So if you're interested in that, there's going to be a link in the description. But again, remember today, the version of you that culture approves of is not the whole you. Question is whether you know the difference. God loves you. So do I.